Aloha, welcome. I want to take a few moments to talk about what Kundalini Yoga is and what brought me to Kundalini Yoga, why I practice it, and why we practice it together in a class. Kundalini Yoga, the word kunda means coil and lini means line. And so kunda represents this coil, this nerve bundle at the base of the sacrum where the resting Kundalini energy lies, also known as the dantian in Chinese medicine. And the lini means line, right? So there's a coil at the base of the sacrum, a nerve bundle there, and then that extends up through the central channel, the spinal column, through the central nervous system, through and around all those nerves. And the Kundalini energy cycles up from the resting Kundalini, from the coil. It goes up the Shushmana, the central channel, the spinal column. It drops down the vagus nerve, and we have a micro-orbit of Kundalini energy that moves in this space. And so in Kundalini Yoga, we're kind of focusing on working with this micro-orbit. And we're also focusing on how we move the body and how we breathe and how we use our attention and how we use our eye gaze to open and align energy pathways within the body so that we can clean those energy pathways out so we can get energy moving in the body in an appropriate way. So we work with asana, which is how we move the body, yeah? And so we align in certain ways. So when we hold certain postures or we do certain mudras, right, or we hold the body in at certain angles, we're going to get certain experiences of alignment within the energy systems in the body. And by aligning those in the acupostures of Kundalini Yoga, we get the potential for the pathways to open up and be cleaned, right? To move out any stuck and stagnant energy, all different forms of energy, prana, life force energy, the Kundalini energy, which is micro-orbiting, but a lot of it's psycho-emotional energy that's stuck in the body, psychological energy that's stuck in the body, nerve energy that's not kind of facilitating or moving through the body correctly. And so we use the asanas and we use the posturing and then the repetitive movements, these very tribal dance-like movements that we do in Kundalini Yoga, or we're twisting or moving to facilitate that process of opening the energy pathways and getting the energy moving. And then we mix that in with pranayama, right? So pranayama is our breath work. Pranayama is how we use the breath. The breath is the only aspect of the autonomic nervous system that we have control over. And because we have control over it, because the body can both control it on its own and we can control it, that gives us the potential to unlock the whole capacity of the subconscious mind and all of the processes of the physiology in the body that are happening automatically, because all of the automatic processes of the body are being controlled by the autonomic nervous system, which is controlled by the subconscious mind. And so the breath is the doorway into the subconscious. It's the doorway into the control panel for your physiology, for your mental health, for your emotional health, for your spiritual health. And so we use pranayama to access those aspects of depth consciousness. And we also use pranayama to kind of as like a pump to push energy through energy pathways and to get things opened up and moving. So when we're working with a certain mudra, right, and then we're working with something like breath of fire, we're using the pranayama, we're using the breath to push, and then we're using the physiology in the body, the hydraulic pressure of the body to move and pump energy through the energy pathways, cleaning them out the same way that we would clean out like a pipe or any sort of pathway. So we're using the breath, we're using the pranayama to clean out the energy pathways and to move any energy out of the body along with the asanas, right? So when we're twisting and we're breathing, we're using the movement to kind of twist and break up the energy that's stuck in the body, and we're using the breath to move it out. We're also oxygenating the body when we do that. So we're drawing oxygen deep into the peripheral cells so we can get the cellular structure and the cellular mitochondria and the biochemistry to start working correctly. We're also alkalinizing the body when we do that, so we're creating peak conditions for good energy flow. All the different types of energy so it can flow correctly. We're also aligning the lenses of the physiology, like the Shushmana is made up of the spinal column primarily. And so when the spinal column's in good alignment, when the discs are in the right place, the energy, the Kundalini energy can move, which it moves primarily through the cerebral spinal fluid. And so we get that good movement of energy through asana and pranayama. And then we have Drishti. Drishti is our eye focus. And our primary eye focus that we're going to work with in Kundalini Yoga when you come to class is traditionally the third eye Drishti. And the third eye Drishti, the eyes are gently closed. The eyes tilt upward slightly around the brow line, right about here. And it's a very soft, very relaxed drishti, you know, and so that drishti sends energy into the third eye, which gives us the ability to affect how we see things, right? So it gives us the potential to alter how we're perceiving the events of our life and the circumstances of our life so that we can respond instead of react. There's other drishtis that we work with as well, but that's the primary one that we'll work with in Kundalini Yoga. And so the drishti, the eye focus, helps direct attention and energy into certain aspects of the chakra system and into the body. And the final aspect that we work with primarily in Kundalini Yoga is mantra. And mantra is sound frequency, and the effect of sound frequency. Everything is frequency. Everything is matter is all made up of vibrating particles, and so everything is vibrating at different densities or different frequencies, which are creating different densities. So things that are solid are still in a vibratory phase, or still in a frequency-based phase. And so we work with mantra for the effect of the sound frequency in the body and the effect that that sound frequency is going to have on the physiology, and then how we can create vibrations in different areas of the body, again, to break up energy and to bring certain aspects of the physiology and the energy system online. So we do a mantra like the Adi mantra, or what we open up class with, you know, it comes to this mantra, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. When we work with a mantra like that, we want to get the sound frequency. We want to feel the vibration in the body like a cat purring. We want to feel this effect in the physiology of what it feels like to do the mantra. That's the primary reason we're working with mantra. We're also the reason why we work with Tibetan bowls or we work with the gongs, is because they're all creating very powerful sound frequencies that have the ability to move throughout the body and have certain effects in the physiology. And so those are the four aspects of what we work with in Kundalini Yoga. We have asana, we have pranayama, we have drishti, and we have mantra, sound frequency, and the Kundalini energy, the resting Kundalini that sits in the dantian, that sits in the sacrum area and then moves and cycles up that micro-orbit of the Shushmana down the vagus, and they're getting activation of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous systems. And then so the effects produced then are balancing of the nervous system, reduction of things like adrenal fatigue or orange alert, which is when our nervous system is in an elevated state of response, causing stress, cortisol levels, our endocrine system comes out of balance. And so by working with the practice, we're balancing the nervous system. We're bringing the hemispheres of the brain into alignment. We're bringing the endocrine system in the body into alignment, which means that our hormonal balance starts to come into proper form, because that's deeply connected with our nervous system. And so we're getting endocrine system regulation. We're getting psycho-emotional regulation, which means our mental state develops more clarity. Our emotional state is more in a state of ease, right? The body's more in a state of ease, the physiology, right? And so that gives us the ability to, one, just live a more easeful and joyful life. But also it deeply gives us the ability to start to choose our perception of how we see reality, and perception, the ability to choose how we see the circumstances of our life, so that we can be an active participant in that process, which is completely transformative. You know, when you realize that almost the entire nature of the experience of your life is based in your perceptions, not in actual reality. It's an incredibly liberating understanding to have, because then you get to choose how you want to be in the world, and you get to choose how you see the world, regardless of the circumstances that may be happening. And then you can respond to the circumstances of your life instead of reacting, which leads to a much more fruitful life and a much more joyful life. So we hope to see you in class. We hope to see you online participating in these Kundalini Yoga practices. And thank you for watching.